Welcome all to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for 31st October and 1st November 2023. चले आज के एजेंडा की तरफ. We'll be discussing about one step further that we discussed in the previous TNA about the electoral bonds that were issued by the government during the Arun Jaitley's when Mr. Arun Jaitley was the finance minister. So electoral bonds, what government, RBI and Election Commission of India said when the scheme was first proposed, which we have taken from the Indian Express. Then we'll be talking about some very interesting news update and then the legal news update of the day. Let us start very quickly because we have a lot of news to cover today. Okay. So the context behind this particular editorial here is about the electoral bonds, and the electoral bonds were challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court and they were to be heard before the 5-judge bench. Now, what is the say of the government in this particular scenario? What are the RBI and the Election Commission of India contentions on this particular scheme? That we would be discussing. Okay. So let us first discuss the context why we are talking about it here. So 5-judge bench of the Honorable Supreme Court led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud is expected to hear a batch of petition challenging the electoral bonds and its constitutional validity certainly today. Okay. Now, why this particular bonds are being challenged? So the bond are being challenged. The scheme has been enabled to give enormous donation to the political party and has led to cumulative transfer of around rupees 13,000 crore. So it's a very big amount that has been transferred to the political party through electoral bonds between March 2018, when the first tranche of the donations was made, and July 2023. And these are the particular data that we have received from the State Bank of India, the only bank that has been authorized to sell this bond. And the bank has answered this particular question when there was a RTI made in this particular scenario. Okay, so there was a transfer of 13,000 crore. Now, the particular scheme was proposed by late Arun Jaitley in his budget speech in 2017. The Reserve Bank of India and the Election Commission of India has flagged several problems with respect to this particular scheme and the electoral bond scheme that has come up. And the scheme, discussion, the point of contention that have been raised by RBI and the Election Commission of India, we have discussed in this particular editorial. Now, this is what they said we'll be discussing. Based on communication obtained under the RTI Act by activist Commodore Lokesh K. Batra. So the RTI was made by Commodore Lokesh Batra जी. ठीक है, चले. अब हम पहला डिस्कशन ये करते हैं कि इस पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो में गवर्नमेंट ने क्या आर्ग्यू किया. So, starting with the Jaitley's budget speech, the government has maintained in its communication with RBI and Election Commission of India that the scheme has only one purpose. The purpose is to clean up the political funding of elections. So, to clean all the political funding of elections, this particular scheme has come up. In this particular scheme, it led to greater transparency as all the transaction would be carried out by individual and company that complete the SBI KYC formalities, and party would have to open a special account to receive the electoral bonds. Okay. Now, the government has also maintained that giving donors anonymity was of prime importance. So, donors' identity would not be revealed. Now, the next particular contention or a thought process that come up in the letter to then RBI Governor, Mr. Arjit Patel, then Economic Affairs Secretary Subhash Chandra Garg wrote that the scheme was an earnest effort to make political funding more accountable and clean and transparent. So the purpose was altogether that all the funding should be made more transparent. Now, responding to RBI's suggestion that the bond should be issued in demat form and not as bearer bond, the Economics Affairs Secretary Subhash Chandra Garg wrote that it is considered view of the government that electoral bonds in demat form will take away the key feature of the scheme to provide anonymity of the donors via the political parties. The fact that information of this aspect will be with the bank would make a scheme a non-starter. So what is happening? What is happening now that altogether the purpose of the scheme was to maintain the anonymity of the donors. So there was a, there was a dissent view of the fact, that this particular bond should be issued in bearer form, not in demat form. So the bonds were eventually implemented as bearer bond as the government wanted. So it was issued in the bearer bond. Now, the concern that RBI has raised here because of this particular scheme is that this scheme had the potential to clean up political funding, but expressed concern with some aspect during consultation with the finance ministry. So Governor Arjit Patel wrote to Mr. Jaitley that we are concerned that the issue of electoral bonds as bearer instrument in the matter currently contemplated has the possibility of misuse, more particularly through use of shell companies. So if the bonds are issued in the bearer form, it has the possibility, particularly the possibility of a misuse of funds. He went on to suggest that electoral bonds should be sold in the digital format, that is the demat, rather than the physical form. In the face of RBI's objection, the government amended the RBI Act to allow other authorities to issue bearer instruments. So in the letter, Mr. Arjit Patel pointed out the issue of currency was a monopoly function of the central authority, and the amendment that diluted the RBI power was a matter of concern. Now that the RBI Act has been amended, the government should, in the least, not authorize any other institution to issue electoral bonds. But despite the fact SBI was authorized to issue electoral bonds and not the RBI. So central authority was not given the authority to issue the electoral bonds or the bearer bonds, but a nationalized bank, State Bank of India, was given the right to issue that particular bond. So that is a major concern here raised by RBI. Now, what is the concern that Election Commission of India has raised? So in 2017, when the scheme was finalized, Mr. Garg, who was the Economic Affairs Secretary, briefed that Chief Election Commissioner A.K. Jyothi and then Election Commissioners O.P. Rawat and Sunil Arora, in a record note on a meeting held, it said it expressed doubt that the electoral bonds can be misused by a shell company, to which he replied that KYC compliance would require giving the source of fund. Now, Mr. Rawat was since then publicly called the scheme opaque. Now, Chief Election Commissioner Jyothi also raised three issues. The first issue was electoral bonds would not be available to individual candidate and new political parties. Second, that there was an inconsistency between the Income Tax Act and the Representation of People Act, with cash donations under the formal law limited to rupees 2,000, while the later allows up to rupees 20,000. So there was a discrepancy in the Income Tax Act and the Representation of People Act, and that the political party should be required to give the denomination detail wise to the electoral bond received by them. So what political party would require to give to the Election Commission of India denomination wise details, that what is the denomination of that particular note that they received through the electoral bonds. The scheme was eventually opened to the political party registered with the Election Commission of India that had received 1% of votes in the previous election. So it was the criteria. The RTI replies provided so far, SBI has said 25 parties have opened accounts to cash electoral bonds. Parties submit the sum of donation received from all sources, including EBs, to the ECI every year. So in the reply to the RTA that was, made, SBI has said 25 parties have opened the new account, and all the information of the electoral bonds every year goes to the Election Commission of India. But there are major concerns from Election Commission of India, RBI. What government has argued in, to disregard this particular contentions. We have covered this. We'll keep you updated what Supreme Court says on this particular matter, and let's see what does the electoral bonds hold the constitutional validity in our system or not. Now, let us start with the national news of the day. Chale? Uttarakhand cabinet gives nod to set up Rajaji Tiger Reserve Conservation Foundation. So Uttarakhand government has decided to establish Rajaji Tiger Reserve Conservation Foundation to accelerate the ecological, economic, social and cultural development of landscapes in and around the reserve. Okay. It will also help the local communities inhabiting the Rajaji landscape to reap the benefits of ecotourism and deal with human-wildlife conflict. So this particular decision has been taken to set up a foundation for the conservation of the tiger reserve in Uttarakhand. चलें नेक्स्ट नेशनल न्यूज की तरफ चलते हैं. IIT Madras and Aviv University researchers develop aerogel absorbent to remove pollutant. So one of the phenomenal innovation in our climate change sector, where IIT Madras with other universities tie-up, which is the Israel University tie-up, developed an aerogel absorbent that can remove trace pollutants from waste water. So this particular aerogel removes 76% of trace pollutants in continuous flow condition, thus offering a sustainable path for large-scale water purification. Now, what are aerogels? Aerogels are also known as solid air or frozen smoke, are excellent absorbents and are incredibly lightweight solid composed mostly of air. Okay. In addition, they offer advantages like adjustable surface chemistry, low density, and highly porous structure. So, a very innovative step towards this particular, climate change. Now, national games. Jyothi Yarraji clinches 100-meter hurdle gold in record time. So, Asian Games silver medalists Jyothi Yarraji and Tejas Shirse smashed the national games record on way to winning gold medal in 100-meter and 110-meter hurdle in athletics competition on Monday. So very important news coming up from our national name. This is the 37th national games. Please do tell me in the comment box, हमारे national name इस बार कहाँ हो रहे हैं? So what is the place where national games are happening? Please do tell me in the comment box. Okay? Now, in this particular tally, Maharashtra is leading the medal tally with 47 gold, 34 silver, and 33 bronze, followed by Haryana. And this data is as of Monday. Okay? Chalo. Punjab, Telangana, Maharashtra, top states from where students go abroad for higher studies. So, this particular 3 states have top from where students go overseas for higher education, while Germany, Kazakhstan, Ireland, Singapore, Russia, and France are among the new preferred destinations for Indian students, according to report. So the particular report comes up beyond beds and boundaries. Indian Student Mobility Report 2023, which is launched by Global Education Conclave. ये वहां से डेटा आ रहा है. ओके, Now, top states in India in terms of students going abroad include Punjab, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Delhi NCR, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. Okay, challenge. State Bank of India ropes in cricket icon Mahendra Singh Dhoni as brand ambassador. So for the country's leading, largest lender, State Bank of India has roped in cricketing legend Mahendra Singh Dhoni as bank's official brand ambassador. Now, Dhoni will play a pivotal role in various marketing and promotional campaign of SBI. Now, जैसे हम दूसरे अगर बैंक्स की बात करें तो फॉर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा has appointed Rahul Dravid as its brand ambassador. At present, badminton player PV Sindhu, K. Shrikant and cricketer Shefali Verma are Bank of Baroda's brand ambassador. Now, Delhi-based Punjab National Bank has also taken Virat Kohli as a brand ambassador. Now, side note, the chairperson of SBI is Mr. Dinesh Kumar Khara. Chale? India, Kazakhstan conduct 13-day military exercise to boost anti-terror cooperation. So they have conducted a 13-day mega war game in Kazakh military base of Otar with a focus on boosting their counter-terror operation. Now this particular edition is the 7th edition and the exercise name is Kazand 2023. Now, the scope of the exercise also provides and includes conduct of counter unmanned aerial system operations. Exercise Cousin 2023 will provide an opportunity for both sides to gain an insight into tactics, battle drills and procedures of each other, which is a prerequisite while operating under the ambit of United Nations. Great. Challenge. Indian Air Force Eastern Air Command gears up for Poorvi Akash annual exercise. So Eastern Air Command, Indian Air Force has a commanded level exercise named Poorvi Akash from 30th October 2023. The exercise is scheduled to conclude on 5th November 2023. Now, it will involve the entire Eastern sector and Indian Air Force Guards and will participate in special mission along with the special forces of Indian Air Force. Air defense assets of IA and IAF will also be deployed to simulate a realistic battle scenario. So again, our news coming from the defense sector. चलिए इंटरनेशनल न्यूज की तरफ पढ़ते हैं. Lionel Messi beats Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe to win record 8th Ballon d'Or. So Lionel Messi clinched his record 8th Ballon d'Or title on Monday. Messi, who captained Argentina to 2022 World Cup success in Qatar, piped Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. Okay, chalo. Now David Beckham, the co-owner of Inter Miami, presented him with a coveted award at the Theatre du Chalet in Paris. So, a news coming up in football. Barcelona midfielder Antana Bonmati claimed the women Ballon d'Or. So, male के लिए Lionel Messi and women के लिए Barcelona midfielder Antana Bonmati को दिया गया है in the women category. Clear? चलें? Norway aid for food security in India. Norway will help fund India's hunger project and help strengthen women leaders to protect the environment and promote food security in Uttarakhand. The project would be of 3 years until September 2026. Now, the project is implemented in 3 districts, 9 blocks, 172 gram panchayats, 145 one panchayats of Uttarakhand. With India assuming G20 presidency in 2023, the 5 priority areas of work identified by the group, 2 areas include women leadership at grassroots and women and girls as change makers for climate resilient action are synchronized with the overall proposed program of objectives and priorities. So Norway will aid food security in India. And कहाँ पे इंडिया में? उत्तराखंड में. चलें. The iconic काली पीली टैक्सीज. So iconic काली पीली टैक्सीज हम कहाँ देखते हैं? मुंबई में. So iconic काली पीली taxis which adorned the roads of Mumbai for nearly 5 to 6 decades went off the roads from Monday. According to the government of Maharashtra, the decision to bid adieu to these taxis has come due to their age. A Maharashtra government official recently stated that as the state does not permit cars older than 20 years to be on road, these living legends of street of Mumbai would be banned from October 30th. Okay. These taxis, which became famous as Kali Pili taxis, originated with the rise of popularity of the Fiat 1100 Delight sedan. Following this, they then transformed into premier precedent and finally became the iconic Padmini in 1974. Over the years, this vehicle became much more than just modes of transportation. They played a pivotal role in the livelihoods of many. The Walchand Kirachand family, who owned Premier Automobiles Limited, provided this at reduced prices, becoming a source of income for those who migrated to Mumbai in search of employment. So this Kalipili taxis will be no more in Mumbai, and it's very disheartening. But yes, it has various implications in the climate also. So yeah. Reliance Jio introduces India's first satellite-based Giga Fiber Internet with Geospace Fiber. So a subsidiary of Jio Platform Limited has introduced Geospace Fiber, a first ever satellite-based Giga Fiber service at an inauguration of India Mobile Congress 2023 in New Delhi. Okay. Through partnering with SES, the company is tapping into medium Earth orbit satellite technology. Jio presently caters to more than 450 million consumers in India by providing high-speed broadband service via both fixed line and wireless connections. In its commitment to advancing digital inclusivity for every Indian household, Jio has introduced Geospace Fiber. Great. FinCare SFB, that is FinCare Small Finance Bank, to merge with AU Small Finance Bank from February 1st, 2024. So this particular merger will be taking place in a regulatory filing release late in the evening. AU Small Finance Bank announced its approval for amalgamation. Now, AU Small Finance Bank has confirmed that all employees of FinCare Small Finance Bank will be included in AU SFB family after the merger, which will be happening from 1st Feb 2024. Hawk, India's first centralized wildlife crime management system, takes flight in Karnataka. So, in a bid to effectively combat wildlife crime through innovation and cutting-edge technology, the Karnataka Forest Department has launched a cloud-based information management system, Hostile Activity Watch Karnal, developed by Wildlife Trust India with the support of Foundation Segre and NTT Data. Okay, so team from this particular Karnataka Forest Department, headed by Mr. Biswajit Mishra, initiated the customization process of hawk known as Gauru Dakshi in the state approximately 1 year ago to ensure that migration from the manual system into fully digital one is a smooth transaction. The implementation of the Hawk legacy module, Gauru Dakshi, represent a significant step forward in digitizing forest and wildlife offense management of Karnataka Forest Department. The field training conducted at Nagara Hole Tiger Reserve is a pivotal component of ensuring that the system achieves its intended goals. Clear hai? Great, clear hai? Hawk, India's first centralized wildlife crime management system takes flight in Karnataka. और हॉक का फुल फॉर्म है हॉस्टाइल एक्टिविटी वॉच कर्नल. ठीक है. Legal update coming from the Honorable Supreme Court. If trial is delayed for no fault of accused, court must consider a grant of bail. सो कोर्ट ने बेल का कंसिडरेशन फैक्टर में एक और जोड़ते हुए ये कहा, इफ द ट्रायल हैज बीन डिलेड and there is no fault of accused, then the court must consider grant of bail. The court in its judgment has emphasized that the right to speedy trial is a fundamental right within the scope of Article 21. If the trial is unnecessarily delayed for no fault of the accused, the court must exercise its power to grant bail. The court observed that the constitutional mandate is the higher law and it is the basic right of the person charged of an offense and not convicted that he be ensured and given a speedy trial. अब जो बेंच थी वो जस्टिस संजीव खन्ना एंड जस्टिस एसवीएन भट्टी जी की थी. इन्होंने 5 पॉइंटर्स दिए जहां पे ये कैटेगराइजेशन लिस्ट डाउन करा गया that certain factors to be considered for the grant of bail. तो ये 5 फैक्टर्स को जरूर अच्छे से पढ़िएगा और ये मैटर मनीष सिसोदिया जी का था जहां पे कोर्ट ने ये पर्टिकुलर वर्डिक्ट दिया है. तो ये 5 पॉइंटर्स जो आपको स्लाइड पे दिख रहे हैं इनको अच्छे से पढ़िएगा, इन विच द कोर्ट हैज गिवन सर्टेन फैक्टर्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ विच द बेल कैन बी ग्रांटेड एंड द मैटर नेम इज मनीष सिसोदिया वर्सेस सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ investigation. I hope it is clear. Now, RTI Act will become dead letter. SC directs states union to fill vacancies in information commissions. So, the Supreme Court expressed its dissatisfaction with the failure of states and the union to fill up the vacancies of information commissions across the country. The bench, comprising Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice Manoj Mishra, was hearing a petition concerning the large number of vacancies in the Information Commission set up under the Right to Information Act. Okay, the court has stated the failure of the state government to fill post of Information Commissioner defeats the purpose of the RTI Act and affects the right of information, which becomes a dead letter if vacancies are not filled up. And this was the case in Anjali Bharadwaj and others versus Union of India. Now, next, legal update coming. Second petition under 482 CRPC on grounds available at the time of first petition are not maintainable. So the court has stated that the second petition filed under 482 of the CRPC on the grounds that were available at the time of first petition also. So the first petition, the particular matter is not maintainable. The court has stated that there is no blanket rule that the second petition under section 482 CRPC would not lie in any situation, and it would depend upon the facts and the circumstances of the individual case. It is not open to a person aggrieved to raise one plea after the other by invoking the High Court jurisdiction, though all such pleas were much available even at the first instance. So, the case was Bisham Lal Verma versus State of Uttar Pradesh and another. The another legal update coming from the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Kumari Geeta, daughter of late Krishna and others versus Nanjunan Dwaswamy and others. The court has stated that plaint cannot be rejected in part under Order 7, Rule 11 of the Civil Procedure Code. The Supreme Court has reiterated that when a plaint does not disclose a cause of action, it is liable to be rejected under Order 7, Rule 11 of the Civil Procedure Code. To put it negatively, in simple terms, the court has stated that the true test is first to read the plaint meaningfully and as a whole, taking it to be true. Upon such reading, if the plaint discloses a cause of action, then the application under Order 7, Rule 11 of CPC must fail. And in this particular case, the bench comprised of Justice P.S. Narasimha and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia. That's all for the today's news update and the legal news. Thank you.